Just today I was talking with someone about moral arguments for God and their refutation. I also had a recent debate with someone about morality, so I will cover that in this video. The theist position is normally that morality is objective. Therefore it is what it is and never changes. The truth is that morality is subjective. There is no such thing as objective morality. There is only an illusion of objective morality. I touched on three things here. The first two go together, and I will start with them. How do we know that morality exists only subjectively and not objectively? The first thing to consider is the sets of moral code presented as being objective. Upon examination of these writings, it is plain to see that these things are a snapshot of the relative subjective morality at the time it was written. There may or may not be some arbitrariness mixed in with that as well. We know morality exists only subjectively because we can see how it has changed over time. This is the frequently decried moral relativism. For example, the general attitude of society regarding slavery were very different 200 years ago than compared with these attitudes today. 50 years ago, banning interracial marriage was acceptable to mainstream American society. Today, such thoughts would be considered bigotry. Where will people's attitudes be on same-sex marriage in 10 or 20 years? Catholics, for example, love to rail against the evils of moral relativism destroying the world, but just try taking them to task for the Spanish Inquisition. They will give you a response that will drown you in sweet irony. They will say it was a different time back then, and that sort of thing is not going on now. That response is just priceless. There they are, hiding behind the moral relativism they hate so much. They shake the very foundations of that which they seek shelter in. This relative, changing morality is relative and changing because it is subjective. That is to say, it is not an absolute truth. It is only in the mind of the thinker and therefore has no objectivity. It is subjective. Now, for the last subtopic I mentioned, the illusion of objective morality, it is true that there are certain moral truths, if you can call it that don't change, even if the relative morality of certain periods of history did not agree. There is little to no difference in these from person to person. These aspects of morality can best be highlighted in psychological experiments regarding moral dilemmas. These things are all based on emotion. Some of them seem rational, and some of them do not. They are all nothing more than our feelings, what we may call a conscience. They are derived from our instincts. While they are at their most sophisticated in humans, they exist to one degree or other in all social species. They are just the instincts we evolved for surviving as part of a group, which is vital to any social species. So, of course, these feelings are nearly identical in all people. So we all share this same subjective morality. That is what gives us the illusion of objectivity. However, it is still in the mind and therefore subjective, regardless of how many people have virtually identical feelings. This shared subjective morality, which is just the manifestation of our instinctual social behavior, was shaped by natural selection just as all our characteristics were. So as you can see, moral objectivity is an illusion, and all morality is purely subjective.